Hey all. So I'm just sitting down here. I was working on my bike, and I was thinking about um, what my friend Coralfish had said in her video. She was talking about 19 things. She's 19 random things, and I was thinking, that's a good number. That's like a handleable number that you can do in like a decent video without getting people too bored. Anyway, so I was thinking about what sort of 19 things I could talk about. And while I was thinking about this, I really got to thinking, you know, there's so many things that as we go through our lives we forget. And so I was thinking, well, I should make a video about the 19 main, well, not main, but 19 important things, or at least I feel that they're important things that I never thought I would forget that I've forgotten. Um, so if that sounds a little confusing, I realize, but just stick with me for a minute, and I promise it will be redeemed. So to start, let's start with languages that I have forgotten. Um, I've never been really good at languages, so this doesn't really bother me except for the last one. So let's go through this. The Cree language from Cree Indians in Canada, or Cree Aborigines in Canada. The Lakota language. I lived on Cree reserves and with the Cree people for several years when I was very young. And I picked up some. I remember that I could understand some, but I can't understand any or even think of any words now at this point. The next one is Lakota from the more specifically the Oglala dialect of Lakota. That's the language that the Native Americans speak in Dances with Wolves. I lived on that reservation for about 6 years, um, starting when I was 8 years old. And my mom thought it was important that we learn the language, my brother and I, and so I picked up a pretty good amount, but I I have completely forgotten it. I watched Dances with Wolves a couple years ago and realized that I don't even recognize any of the words. The next three languages are actually made-up languages, but I was being the nerd that I am, I was very proud to have learned them. The first one is Quenya, which, if you've ever seen Lord of the Rings, that's the language of the elves, and it looks like that right there. I was very fluent in reading and writing it, and I was pretty good at speaking it. I have no clue what that page even says at this point. So, yeah, anyway. The next one is the moon runes that the dwarves use in the book The Hobbit. I learned that language too. That one here, that one is actually pretty close to like actual ancient Norse runes. So it was no real jump for me to move from learning the moon runes to actually learning how to read and write in the ancient Norse runes. Of course, I couldn't speak the language, but I could read and write it. That one's not made up, but the Quenya and the moon runes are the made-up languages. Another made-up language that I was pretty good at back in the day and have no clue where to even start with it now is Klingon. Yeah, I was that big of a nerd. I learned Klingon. So I have no clue how to read, write, speak Klingon anymore. Russian. I actually, when I was 21, I worked in a lab that was majority Russian. There was one Chinese guy and one Thai guy, but The rest were Russian. It was a pretty good sized lab, and most of the labs around us were also majority Russian. So um, I was tutored in Russian, and you know eh, I got pretty good at understanding it. Never did get very good at speaking it. Um, but now, no, not a clue. I know how to say spasiba and do svidania and roboto and just a few words, whatever. Um, the one language that really bothers me that I can't speak, that I forget how to speak, is Spanish, because I've learned it 3 times, I think, and forgotten it all 3 times. And it's one of those things that I can pick out a few words when most people are speaking. And the last time I got pretty good at it was when my wife and I were traveling in Guatemala, and I actually had to speak it for like 3 weeks straight. Then I got pretty good at it, but I forgot it just as quickly. Next is dancing. Actually, you don't think that you forget dances, but I've forgotten dances. Growing up in rural America with sort of traditional, well, not traditional, but like my parents were really into traditional stuff, so I learned how to square dance. Um, and I think I was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, but I have no clue how to square dance. Soft shoe or like musical theater dancing. I was pretty good at that. I have no clue how to do any step or anything at all anymore. Um, which that those are all not really a big deal because like I'm a science guy. Like I'm getting a PhD right now, so like it's okay if I'm not good at like the arts and stuff because I'm a damn scientist. I'm good at science. However, there's a lot of science stuff that I've forgotten that I was thinking about. The thing that really bothers me the most, well, one of the two things that really bothers me the most is organic and inorganic synthetic chemistry, like how to make stuff out of substituent chemicals. Um, and that was just a really cool skill. I was really good at it. I was really good, and I was really good at being able to get the pure chemicals from things in the world around me, like isolate nitrogen, or not nitrogen, isolate like saltpeter from nitrogen bearing soil, um, or fertilizer. I was pretty good at I can't remember, but I was good at like getting pure chemicals out of natural substances. Um, so anyway, the main reason I bring that up is like at this point I'm putting together this sweet lab in my basement, and I have absolutely no clue how to make stuff, um, either inorganic or organic. Um, Scientific statistics, no clue. I'm not really that worried about that one though because right now I'm in a biostatistics course, and so there's I'm not really worried about that. Um, Calculus, the fact that I don't remember any calculus really bothers me, especially because I took a full year of calculus and a lot of like biological chemistry, and biology is based on calculus pretty much. Botany is something else that I also used to be really good at. I took it in college and I really enjoyed it and I was really good at it, but nothing nothing anymore. Um, there's other things like random skills that you don't really think about, but things that you forget, like the yo-yo. I used to be really good at the yo-yo. I can't play a yo-yo or do a yo-yo, throw a yo-yo anymore. Um, Another random thing is leatherworking, like doing this kind of stuff. Um, I used to do it. I used to really enjoy it. But, it's just something that has fallen by the wayside. It's something that I used to be able to do that now I can't do. In that same vein, weaving. I used to be able to weave. I have no clue how to weave, but I used to be able to weave, whatevs. Um, Fieldcraft, or like outdoorsmanship. Um, Once again, something that I used to be really good at, and it's just been so long that I haven't used it, I've completely forgotten all of it. Um, I probably wouldn't last that long in the woods if I was randomly dropped in the woods nowadays. Um, in that same vein, once again, how to dress animals. My family raised animals for meat and fur sometimes, a good amount of the time when I was growing up. And so I learned very early on how to slaughter and dress animals, and do it efficiently and do it, with the least amount of pain and suffering, and, how to preserve the pelts and that sort of thing. And once again, it's just fallen by the wayside. Another random thing that I actually just glanced upon, I just remembered that I forgot when I was making this video, is throwing knives. Like using one of these. This is actually an old one of mine. I got this one when I was like 18, I think. But I used to be pretty good at throwing a knife. I could, get the point to stick, and I could do it quickly, and I could do it at differing distances. It was something that I really enjoyed doing, but by the wayside once again. So those are the 19 things that I used to really enjoy that I've forgotten.